In this lunchtime news broadcast, we bring you the latest news, both local and international, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the news headlines. Home Affairs distances itself from golden visa. Phala Phala pressure piles on Geingob, and unemployment tops the State of Nation address wish list. I am Ashwin Berry, and this is NMH at 1. The body of a newborn baby with her lower limbs missing and wrapped in a plastic bag was discovered yesterday in Mururani in the Kavango East region. According to the police, a 26-year-old woman gave birth to a fully developed baby girl at home at the Mile 30 village on Friday. Now, she was by herself in her bedroom. She then allegedly placed the baby in plastic and dumped the infant in the bushes away from the homestead. It is further alleged that she afterwards removed the baby from the place where she dumped the infant and buried the baby in a shallow grave a short distance away. The woman is under medical observation and has not been arrested. Remember to engage with these stories on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news coming up after the break.
Active Kids is an initiative under the MyZone brand that aims to provide exciting and easy activities and fun stories. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na. Active Kids, where we actively invest in your future.
Heading into this afternoon's visual news, the town mayor of Okahaho, Cornelia Iambula, says the council is faced with the challenge of lack of capital to survey and service land for housing and business development, both through government subsidy, own funding and private investors. Enza Mwele reports.
Despite the project that we are trying to run, as I have explained, so we are also faced with some challenge. Among the challenge, the most one I can say that is challenging us is the lack of capital. The capital project, no, not the capital it first, the financial itself. So for surveying and servicing the land. So that land that we need to allocate to either for house building or either for the development of business. The decreasing buying powers, like for example, by people, if there is no capital, they cannot buy houses. And if there is no capital to service the land, meaning that the investor also will not come to Okahaho as a town. Now, another challenge that we face is the resistance sometimes to the household in terms of paving a way for development. And sometimes that one is also coupled with the package of compensation, because now when you are removing or when you are like engaging the community to pave way for development, so you have got also to compensate them. Sometimes you do not have a compensation, a package. So this one is the challenge that we are facing, but most resistance from the community, those that are holding their own houses. This is very difficult to change. You see, you cannot accept change. It comes with mixed feelings. So it's very difficult to convince someone that he lived for the rest of 30, 50 years just to change his lifestyle in all a sudden. So you have to compensate that person that he will be convinced or he will be happy with the compensation that you are giving to that family or to that member.
Elizabeth Boyson, Public Relations Officer and Patient Services at Oneuptwo Medipark, has asked men to join women in observing Endometriosis Awareness Month and to encourage their spouses to go for screening. Boyson was speaking on Saturday at the Run Along Foundation Saturday Run. Boyson said endometriosis is a condition in which the tissue that forms the lining of the uterus is found outside the uterus. It's most common in women in their 30s and 40s, but endometriosis can happen in anyone with menstrual periods.
It's a disease that attacks females. The moment you start to get your menstruation, that is when it starts to attack you. So sometimes you have got pain down your bladder. Some of the girls will be rolling on the floor saying, I've got menstruation pain. But it could be that it is the stage 1 that is starting with endometriosis. So you need to go consult a doctor so that they can see, is it normal or is it abnormal? When it is abnormal, that's when you have got endometriosis. This is a disease, some kind of a cancer, but it's only attacking a second part of your body, and that's only in women. So once you have endometriosis, it can prevent you from having children one day if it is not treated early. So it needs to be detected early and treated early. So when you have got a terrible pain in your bladder, during your menstruation or before your menstruation, please consult a doctor and they do test on you and see where you are standing. It's very dangerous. Once it reaches stage 4, it cannot be treated. You cannot be healed from it. You'll just be on treatment until such time that you are normal. So please, men, take care of your women, your sisters, your aunties, your mothers, your grandmothers, once they complain of that.
Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry CEO Charity Muya this morning said SMEs are the biggest contributors to the country's GDP and thus need the most attention when it comes to training opportunities. Muya said this during the kickoff at the company's 2-day ITIS training in collaboration with NAMRA at the Nampower Convention Center. NAMRA also announced an 18-month amnesty period for SMEs that will start on the 1st of April 2023 and will end on the 31st of October 2024. This will waive the penalties and interest accumulated fully. Elizabeth Joseph reports.
Subscribe. They said it's okay, just keep on taking all the names and then we will continue doing the trainings. So Namra, this is a very evident to you that definitely there is really so much need for the training of these institutions. Now, I think it is very much internationally recognized that SMEs play a very vital role in any economy. And Namibia's economic structure evidently is comprised mostly of our SMEs. And these are the people that are really contributing more to job creation, sources of all kinds of products and services, and really contributing more to our GDP. So when they are faced with challenges, this sector of our economy deserves special attention. Yeah. So the prior years of recession and then the pandemic, we know how much this has actually affected, particularly our SME sector. Now, as a chamber, already during the time of the recession, not the pandemic, during the time of the recession, we were actually engaging many of our members and the issues that they were challenged with. And one of the very, very much underlying issues was the issue of taxes, paying your taxes, because many of them were really indebted to the receiver of revenue.
The government has shelved its plan to serve VIPs a better menu than ordinary citizens at the Independence Day celebrations. More on this in the newspaper review segment.
Yo, Joe, what's up, man? Good. Congratulations on your new promotions, man. Give these men a drink.
Coming right up. Hi, Joe.
please drive sober. I didn't.
Heading into the newspaper review, the Namibian Sun reports that the government has backtracked on its controversial decision to provide more and better food to VIPs compared to the ordinary citizens attending the Independence Day celebrations slated for Oneuptwo next week. The two menus are contained in a 27 February letter bearing the State House letterhead addressed to Omusati Governor Ergenius Njala as the chairperson of the Regional Preparatory Committee, instructing him to hire 12 companies to provide catering services at the event. On the paper's page 3, the Diversity Alliance of Namibia reiterated its stance on what it called archaic sodomy law. Sodomy is criminalized by the Roman Dutch common law of Namibia, which was inherited from South Africa at independence. While the sentence for those found guilty under the law is not clear, currently the legislation, along with the common law crime of unnatural sexual offenses, criminalizes consensual sexual acts between men. Republican reports that while residents of informal settlements in Oneuptwo have only had access to muddy water for 2 weeks, the town is plagued by non-stop water cuts. Moreover, the municipality is not interested in any help that the community has offered, and this is being made into a political issue. On page 3, the United People's Movement has fired its Secretary General, her Deputy Treasurer and Chairman. According to the party, it will not tolerate any form of sabotage within the party's ranks, and no one is exempt from being disciplined for actions that may bring the party's reputation into disrepute. On its front page, the Algemene Zeitung leads with an article about the former member of National Assembly, Geoffrey Mwilima, who is serving a prison sentence for his involvement in a conspiracy to secede the Zambezi region from Namibia in the 90s. Mwilima has failed in his latest attempt to secure a court order for his release after having served more than 20 years. This ongoing saga would seem strange because Namibia has had a precedent court ruling in the past that seems to have ruled that 20 years in prison should be regarded as the maximum prison time served by any individual. On page 3, Algemene Zeitung leads with an update about the final report being due no later than 2023 as regards to the elephant survey in the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area. The report might even be released in May already. It was conducted by the 5 CASA partner countries Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia and Zimbabwe with the support of the WWF and other partners last year. We continue with the newspaper review, starting with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toyvon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts and experts. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact agenda@synergy.com.na. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
Continuing with the newspaper review, the Namibian newspaper reports that President Geingob says he is too busy preparing for the State of the Nation address to respond to calls for him to apologize for allegedly acting erroneously and assisting South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to investigate the theft at his Phala Phala farm. The call for Geingob to apologize was made by official opposition leader McHenry Venani. Geingob is accused of assisting Ramaphosa with state manpower and resources to investigate the theft of $580,000 at the Phala Phala farm in Limpopo. On page 3, the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security has distanced itself from the Golden Visa program allegedly being offered to wealthy foreign nationals by Walvis Bay-based developers. The ministry's executive director, Etienne Maritz, said they took note of articles circulating which claim the ministry has introduced a policy to issue citizenship as well as permits to foreign nationals who purchase residential property in the president's Lynx estate and Henley and Partners. Now, New Era reports that all eyes will be on President Geingob tomorrow when he delivers his penultimate State of the Nation address, with many pondering how he intends to address the country's unemployment quagmire, which has reached crisis proportions. Fresh in his memory will be last week's incident where 2,000 desperate Namibians flocked the premises of a local restaurant to compete for 6 casual positions. On page 3, SWAPO Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah said the SWAPO-led government has significantly improved HIV and AIDS treatment and curbed the negative effects associated with the virus. Today, people have access to ARVs. People are no longer dying of HIV and AIDS because the SWAPO-led government worked hard to ensure that this disease has been defeated, and we will continue doing it, she stated. MarketWatch informs that the Namibia Revenue Agency and Bank of Namibia are working on introducing a web-based regulatory system to mitigate the illegal outflow of funds from the local economy. The trade verification system is aimed at reducing illicit financial outflows and will be used as a monitoring capability to reconcile the cross-border transfer of money to the movement of goods in the country. It will further serve as an electronic export monitoring tool to aid in the repatriation of export proceeds and the detection of misclassification of export proceeds. South Africa's fat chicken crisis is worsening. More on this story in economic news after the break.
Please walk responsibly. I did not. Ma'am?
Heading into economic news, South Africa's largest poultry producer, Astral Foods, said on Monday its shortage of smaller-sized chicken portions for the fast food restaurant sector had worsened since December amid continuing load shedding. There isn't a lack of chickens. Instead, chicken houses are full of birds that cannot be slaughtered due to electricity outages. As they wait, the chickens are getting heavier. Fast food outlets typically require chickens of around 1.8 kilograms, but many now weigh more than 2.4 kilograms, one poultry farmer told News 24. In December, KFC was forced to temporarily close some outlets due to problems with chickens. Astral told News 24 the situation has worsened since December as more regular stage 6 load shedding is implemented. I guess we're fat shaming chickens now. Stay with us as we head into the economic indicators. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is down next to all these major currencies, trading at 18.14 next to the US dollar, and 19.49 Namibian dollars gets you €1. All stocks seem to have maintained their value, with Namibia Breweries Limited trading at 46.02 points. The local index also staying the same, however, overall index closed with a dip of 0.58%. Looking at commodities, gold, copper and zinc both made downturns of 0.20%, 1.09% and 1.26%, whilst Brent crude oil made the only uptick. Antony Blinken is to meet Ethiopian government leaders to repair their ties. Don't miss news from Africa here on NMH at 1.
Please, put on your safety belt, sir. It's very important for your life.
The seatbelt doesn't make me drive comfortably. Yes, that's better. Please wear your seatbelt. I did not.
Historically, the original name for Africa is Alkebulan, which means the Garden of Eden. Let's head into the news stemming from the African continent. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was set to meet Ethiopia's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister in Addis Ababa on Wednesday as the two governments look to repair relations following friction over the 2-year civil war in the Tigray region. Blinken was due to begin his visit with talks with Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen and was also scheduled to meet Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and leaders of the Tigrayan forces that battled the federal government in the war in the northern region. He will then head to the West African nation of Niger on Thursday, which has been confronting a growing Islamist insurgency. His trip is the latest in a series of visits to Africa by senior U.S. officials as the Biden administration looks to reinforce ties with the continent amid competition from China. The United States was outspoken in its criticism of alleged atrocities by Ethiopian forces and their allies during the Tigray War, which killed tens of thousands of people before a peace accord was reached last November. The U.S. government imposed wide-ranging restrictions on economic and security assistance to Ethiopia and cut access to the U.S. African Growth and Opportunity Act, a duty-free trade program that has been a boon for the country's textile sector. Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation and a traditional U.S. ally in East Africa, accused Washington of meddling in its internal affairs and threatened to reassess the bilateral relationship. Thousands of supporters of Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko rallied in Dakar on Tuesday, the first of several days of protests as the country prepares for elections in less than a year. Tensions are rising ahead of the vote in a country seen as democratic mainstay in the region amid speculation that President Macky Sall could bypass the constitution and seek a third presidential term. The demonstration, called by the Liberate the People coalition, was the first authorized by authorities in recent months. In 2024, no one will be able to stop us from taking this country, Sonko told his followers. I don't believe in Macky Sall's institutions because he doesn't respect them, he said, calling on his supporters to back him in big numbers at a court appearance on Thursday. I came to support Ousmane Sonko in his fight against injustice and corruption, Mohamed Dia, a 32-year-old telecommunications technician, told AFP. Now Sonko is expected in court on Thursday after being sued by Tourism Minister Mamembaya Niang for defamation, insult and forgery. He accuses Sonko of defaming him about his management of a community agriculture program. He also faces separate charges of rape and making death threats based on a complaint by an employee at a beauty salon where he was getting a massage. Sonko has denied the charges and accused authorities of trying to silence him and his party with arbitrary arrests and the instrumentalization of the justice system against opponents. Guilty verdicts could render Sonko ineligible to stand in the presidential vote set for February 2024. We start off with Pakistan as we head into international news shortly.
Please adhere to the speed limit. I did not.
Heading into international news, Pakistan's main opposition leader Imran Khan says the authorities are acting outside the law in their attempt to arrest him. They should all be subjected to the law of the land, he told BBC. Yesterday, police clashed with supporters of Khan, a former prime minister, outside his residence as they tried to detain him on a court order. He is facing allegations that he sold state gifts while in office. He said the case is politically motivated. There was a tense situation outside his compound in the city of Lahore as police tried to force their way in. Officers fired tear gas shells to disperse supporters of Khan, who threw stones and bricks. In a video address, the politician, 70, offered to sign a guarantee that he will appear in an Islamabad court on Saturday. He added that there were security concerns as 2 militant attacks had previously taken place at the court. Khan claimed there was no reason for police to arrest him on Tuesday as he had taken protective bail until Saturday. He also said the government was determined to put him behind bars after previous failed attempts. I'm mentally prepared that I'm going to be spending my night in a cell, he said on Tuesday. I don't know how many nights, but I'm all prepared for that. The former prime minister showed what he said were tear gas canisters, which he said had been fired into his property. Stay with us as we head into local sports, starting with Namibian archery.
How's it, Chief? It's more. Give me a full tank. Hey, big boss, change your tires, they are worn out.
You know what? I'll change it next month, it's fine. Please check your tires. I did not.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Heading into local sport on NMH at 1, a team of 5 Namibian archers returned with 4 medals from the South African National Championship held in Johannesburg. Quinn Redich from Swakopmund in the compound women's division improved her previous Namibian record for the 360 round from 296 to 300. She also ranked first after the full 720 ranking round before securing a silver medal in the elimination. The Namibian Fistball Association has announced its national men's team of 10 players to compete in the World Championship in Mannheim, Germany from 22 to 29 July. The dominating local club Cohen produced 5 of the included players, with 2 more from SKW and 3 from clubs in Europe. The 4-year series of Cricket World Cup League 2 will finally be decided on Thursday when Nepal hosts the United Arab Emirates in the 126th and final match. This result will determine whether Namibia's Eagles will hold on to their current 3rd position out of 7 teams, or more likely to be overtaken by the informed Nepal team, who are on a fantastic run of 10 wins from their last 11 matches and playing in front of 20,000 home fans. We'll be heading into international sports. Manchester City is into the Champions League quarter-finals for a 6th consecutive season, but Erling Haaland's 5-goal haul in a 7-0 destruction of RB Leipzig put Europe on warning that this time may be different for the Premier League champions. Pep Guardiola admitted before Tuesday's last 16 second leg that his reign at City will be defied either by winning or failing to win the Champions League. The 2023 Comrades Marathon unofficial theme of Back to Tradition has been lent further credence by the announcement of Kingsmead Stadium's return as this year's finish line. Durban's premier cricket ground hasn't been saddled with that responsibility since 2016's edition. And in cricket, South Africa has a new coach and the West Indies also has a new captain as they start a 3-match, 1-day international series at Buffalo Park in East London on Thursday. Proteas coach Rob Walton and West Indian captain Shai Hope will both be seeking a winning formula at the beginning of a crucial period for both teams in the lead-up to the Cricket World Cup in India in October and November. Stay with NMH at 1 as we bring you the highlights from this afternoon's break.
Kaap Vol Hoop vertel stories van die Kaap en sy mense en uit die stories en ervarings deel ons mooi en unieke plekke om te sien en te ervaar. Kaap Vol Hoop gaan waar die Kaapenaars gaan en gaan kuier waar die Kaapenaars kuier. Van die strande tot die wynlande en die sportvelde tot die restaurante. Ons kuier dalk sommer ook in iemand se kombuis vir daai familieresep van ouma. Ons eet die Kaapse tradisionele kosse en drink van sy beste wyne. Kaap Vol Hoop gesels met die gewone Kaapenaar en soms ook met die meer bekendes, maar week vir week vertel ons elkeen sy eie unieke storie op sy unieke manier. Kaap Vol Hoop kyk ook uit vir die Namibiërs in die Kaap. Sommige kom kuier net en sommige maak die Kaap hulle nuwe tuiste. Namibiërs in die Kaap gesels saam met Kaap Vol Hoop en deel self die mooi, die uniek en lekker wat op hul pad kom. In alles is Kaap Vol Hoop 'n program wat die mooi en die lag na vore wil bring en 'n program waar ons mekaar kan opbou en leer. Daar is hoop. Daar is 'n Kaap Vol Hoop.
Heading into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was set to meet Ethiopia's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister in Addis Ababa on Wednesday as the two governments look to repair relations following friction over the 2-year civil war in the Tigray region. Pakistan's main opposition leader Imran Khan says the authorities are acting outside the law in their attempt to arrest him. The Namibian Fistball Association has announced its national men's team of 10 players to compete in the World Championships in Germany. Those have been our stories. Make sure you stay with NMH at 1 tomorrow from lunchtime as we catch up on the latest news. From me, Ashwin Berry, have a good one.